Have you noticed your favorite foods missing from store shelves? Empty spaces where the pasta used to be? This isn't just bad luck or supply chain hiccups. Today, we're exposing the real reason 9 everyday foods are suddenly hard to find: government stockpiling. Wheat, one of the world's most vital crops, the backbone of bread, pasta, and countless other foods, is disappearing from shelves at an alarming rate. Once a symbol of abundance, wheat is now becoming a luxury for many families. As harvests shrink and supplies dwindle, the price of everyday staples is climbing higher and higher, putting pressure on households everywhere. The simple act of buying a loaf of bread or a box of pasta is turning into a challenge for millions, as the world's breadbasket runs dry. Governments across the globe are scrambling to secure their own food futures. They're buying up wheat in record amounts, driven by fears of droughts, floods, and global conflicts that threaten to disrupt the fragile supply chain. Natural disasters are wiping out harvests in some of the world's top wheat-producing regions, while political tensions and trade restrictions make it even harder to move grain where it's needed most. The result? A race to hoard what little wheat remains, as nations try to shield their populations from hunger and unrest. But this rush to stockpile wheat has consequences that ripple far beyond government warehouses. When countries hoard supplies, there's less wheat available for everyone else. Prices skyrocket, and families who are already struggling to make ends meet are hit the hardest. For many, the cost of a simple meal is now out of reach. Parents are forced to make tough choices, cutting back on essentials, skipping meals, or searching for cheaper, less nutritious alternatives just to get by. And this crisis isn't just unfolding in distant countries or faraway markets. It's happening right here, right now, in our own communities. American supermarkets are seeing empty shelves where bread and flour used to be. Shoppers are feeling the pinch, and the anxiety is growing as familiar foods become harder to find. Recent reports reveal that government wheat reserves are swelling at an unprecedented pace. Warehouses are filling up and officials insist it's a necessary precaution. But as these reserves grow, so does the gap between those who have access to food and those who don't. Some call this strategy smart planning, a way to protect the nation from future shortages. But for ordinary people, the cost is immediate and painful. Every bag of wheat locked away in storage is one less on the shelves, one more family left wondering how they'll put food on the table tonight. When the government takes control of the food supply, it's a slippery slope. What starts as a precaution can quickly turn into a system where access to basic foods is determined by policy, not by need. The balance between security and scarcity becomes dangerously thin. And wheat is just the beginning. The same forces, climate change, conflict, and government intervention, are threatening other staples too. The foods we take for granted today could be gone tomorrow. Stay with us as we reveal 8 more foods that are vanishing for the very same reasons, and what it means for your next trip to the grocery store. Rice, a staple for billions of people across the globe, is quietly vanishing from store shelves. For many families, rice isn't just a side dish, it's the foundation of daily meals, a source of comfort, and a symbol of cultural identity. But now, as you walk through your local supermarket, you might notice the once overflowing bags of rice are missing, replaced by empty spaces and anxious shoppers searching for alternatives. This isn't just a local issue, it's a global crisis that's unfolding in real time, affecting communities from Asia to Africa, and from Latin America to your own neighborhood. The reasons behind this shortage are complex and interconnected. Severe droughts have scorched rice paddies while unexpected floods have washed away entire harvests. Climate change is making weather patterns more unpredictable, leaving farmers struggling to adapt. On top of that, rising energy costs are making it more expensive to plant, harvest, and transport rice, squeezing global supplies even further. In some regions, farmers are abandoning rice altogether, unable to keep up with the mounting challenges. As if that weren't enough, major rice-exporting countries are imposing strict export bans to protect their own populations. These sudden restrictions have sent shockwaves through the international market, causing prices to spike and leaving import-dependent nations scrambling to secure enough rice for their people. The global rice trade, once a reliable safety net, is now riddled with uncertainty and fear. In response, the U.S. government has quietly ramped up its emergency rice reserves, buying up massive quantities behind the scenes. These stockpiles are meant to ensure national food security, but they also mean that less rice is available for everyday consumers. While officials claim this is a necessary precaution, it raises important questions about who gets access to food in times of crisis. Every grain that's stockpiled by governments or large corporations is a grain that doesn't make it to your table. As supplies dwindle, prices climb higher, putting even basic meals out of reach for many families. For those living paycheck to paycheck, the rising cost of rice can mean the difference between a full meal and going hungry. Is this prudent planning by governments, or is there something more happening behind the scenes? Are these actions truly in the public's best interest, or do they serve other agendas? These are questions we all need to ask as we watch the shelves grow emptier. When government warehouses are overflowing with food while store shelves remain bare, it's fair to wonder, who really benefits from these policies? Are we prioritizing the right people, or are everyday citizens being left behind in the rush to secure national reserves? Now, more than ever, we need transparency and accountability from those in power. We deserve to know how food reserves are managed, who makes these decisions, and how they impact ordinary families. Without open communication, trust erodes and fear takes its place. Don't wait for the government to secure your food supply. The reality is, in times of crisis, you may be on your own. It's up to each of us to take responsibility for our families and our communities. Start by taking small steps, buying a little extra rice when you can, learning how to store it properly, and sharing resources with neighbors. These actions can make a big difference when supplies are tight, because when it comes to something as essential as food, staying silent isn't an option. We must speak up, demand answers, and work together to protect our food security, and rice is just the beginning. More examples of disappearing foods are coming up, so stay tuned to learn how you can prepare. Cooking oil, essential for every kitchen, has quietly become one of the most sought-after and controversial items on grocery store shelves. Whether you're frying, baking, or just making a simple salad, oil is a staple that most of us take for granted. But lately, something strange is happening. The bottles that once lined the aisles are disappearing, and the prices are climbing higher than ever before. Shoppers are finding empty shelves where their favorite brands used to be, and when they do spot a bottle, the price tag is enough to make anyone pause. What's behind this sudden scarcity and sticker shock? The answer lies in a massive, behind-the-scenes effort by the government to stockpile cooking oils like soybean and canola. These aren't just a few extra bottles for emergencies, these are warehouses filled to the brim, with entire shipments diverted away from regular stores. Government officials are locking in exclusive contracts with major producers, ensuring that a huge portion of the supply never even makes it to your local market. These deals are signed behind closed doors with little transparency or public input. The result? Everyday people are left scrambling, forced to pay more for less. Families on tight budgets are hit the hardest as the cost of a basic necessity skyrockets. The government's buying spree is creating a ripple effect, making it harder for everyone else to get what they need. Officials claim these actions are for our protection, promising that these reserves will keep us safe in times of crisis. They appear on television, offering reassurances and insisting that everything is under control. But behind the reassuring words, there's a different reality. By locking away essential goods, the government is tightening its grip on the food supply. It's less about safety and more about control, deciding who gets access and when. When a handful of officials dictate who receives vital resources, the freedom to choose what goes on your table starts to disappear. The power to decide what you eat is slowly slipping away from families and individuals. This isn't just about cooking oil, it's about who holds the power over our most basic needs. The more the government controls, the fewer choices we have as consumers, and the more vulnerable we become to sudden shortages and price hikes. As the shelves grow emptier and options dwindle, shoppers are left with little more than frustration and uncertainty. The freedom to choose what's best for your family is being replaced by a system where scarcity is the new normal. Don't be fooled by promises of protection and stability. The reality is that government stockpiling is making it harder for ordinary people to afford and access the foods they rely on every day. For many, this means tough choices at the checkout counter and meals that are less nutritious or satisfying. The impact is real, and it's being felt in kitchens across the country. Stay tuned as we uncover more foods affected by this hidden crisis. Your kitchen could be next. Let's keep going and find out what else is at stake. Remember when eggs were always in stock? Not anymore. Avian flu outbreaks led to mass culling of chickens, slashing egg production. Instead of letting the market adjust, the government is buying up eggs for its reserves. Their massive demand drives up prices and leaves shelves empty. Ordinary people are left scrambling for a breakfast staple. It's another case of government picking winners and losers. And the losers are us. Milk powder, vital for everything from baby formula to baked goods, is vanishing. The government is stockpiling it for emergencies, but their buying spree is driving up prices and creating shortages. Food manufacturers are forced to cut back or shut down. Consumers pay more and shelves stay empty. This isn't about safety, it's about control. The government's appetite for stockpiling is hurting everyone else, and the ripple effects are everywhere. Canned goods, once a symbol of abundance, are now hard to find. The government is amassing huge stockpiles, leaving less for stores and driving up prices. Manufacturers can't keep up, and choices are shrinking. The result? Higher prices, fewer options, and real fear for families. The shelves are bare, and the cause is clear. The baby formula shortage was a wake-up call. Government intervention didn't solve the problem, it made it worse. By stockpiling and flooding the market with imports, they hurt domestic producers and set the stage for future shortages. Another crisis is inevitable if this continues. Sugar is in nearly everything, but now it's scarce and expensive. The government is stockpiling sugar as a strategic resource, buying up huge quantities. Their actions squeeze the supply chain, raising prices for manufacturers and consumers. As warehouses fill, store shelves empty. The sweetener shortage is no accident, it's another result of government stockpiling. Meat, once a symbol of abundance, is now pricey and hard to find. The government is buying up beef, chicken, and pork for emergency reserves. Their stockpiling leaves less for stores and restaurants, driving up prices. Some farmers can't compete with government contracts and are squeezed out. The result? Higher prices, fewer choices, and a shrinking supply. The meat aisle is the latest casualty. And the trend isn't stopping. 9 everyday foods are disappearing because of government stockpiling. From wheat to meat, the evidence is clear. Don't panic, but don't ignore the signs. Take responsibility for your own food security, stock up wisely, and stay informed. When it comes to food, it's better to be prepared than caught off guard. Let me know if you need further tightening or adjustments.